What's going on, Rowdy Universe? This is Hog Trail, aka the GOAT, back for another episode of Git Good. It's been a while. I have no good excuse other than good old-fashioned laziness on my part. I don't have any reviews to give of superstars that we have made in episodes past. So let's just get on to this episode and see who we got. Priceless. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see how it goes. Okay, here we are in the Octagon deck builder with Priceless's cards listed. I'll start with their superstar card because they came out in Virtual 3 and they have shared cards with Legacy, who are also very good. All right, so Priceless is a 6 hand size, 3 value. They are a tag team superstar. Their ability is once during each player's turn, you may choose one card in your ring and remove it from the game. And the next card you play on that turn is -3 fortitude times the damage of the removed card. Your opponent discards one card when you successfully play your first maneuver during each of your turns. Your reversals are considered D0 for his effects, and you cannot pack any title except the tag team title belts. So their abilities got 3 pretty good parts to it. They are part Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, of course. And they are part Gold Dust, because that's Cody's brother. And then the D0 part is generally a very good effect, especially if your opponent drops like backed by SmackDown GM Vicky Guerrero, because then you basically can play like Spinebuster and stuff like that to their face, to their face stretch, and they can't tell you that you can't do that because you say, yes, I can, and you still have to take damage. So they've got a pretty decent ability. Let's look at their cards. Sons of Legends, backstage area. When your opponent is a legend, at the end of the pre-match phase, blank one non-superstar specific pre-match card in his ring. During your turn, you may hide this card and search your arsenal for one non-superstar specific card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. This is a very good card. It has 2 good effects. There's a lot of legends in the game, and legends are pretty powerful. So being able to blank one of their non-specific pre-match cards can be really good. And then the other part is on its own is very good, even if your opponent isn't a legend, where you get to search for a non-specific card. That gives them a lot of options, especially early in the game, but really any time that they need that one non-specific card in their hand, they can save this card until whenever they need it. Born Better, a pre-match event, cannot be blanked. When the card chosen for your ability is superstar specific, choose one. Draw one card and shuffle one card from your ringside into your arsenal, or your opponent discards one card and overturns one card. When you're a legacy, blah, 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 we are not. When you are Priceless, he skips his first turn of the game. Skipping first turns of the game is really good in general. Of course, if your opponent drops Old School Wrestling Match Throwback, that kind of hurts a little bit. But in the chance, most games, you're not going to run the Old School Wrestling Match Throwback, so your opponent is probably going to be skipping his first turn, which is a really good effect. God-given talent, a 0 fortitude mid-match action. When playing this card and you have at least 10 lower fortitude, you may discard 2 cards and your opponent cannot play reversals to it. Search your arsenal for one non-unique maneuver, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. When it is your next card played this turn, it's -6 fortitude, and you can discard 2 cards, and then he cannot play reversals to it. This card does a couple of really good things. If you're struggling and your opponent got up big and he's got 10 or more fortitude than you do, you can play this card and he basically can't respond to it. He can if he has a reversal that he doesn't have to play, like Christian Shades or something like that. And then the search effect is good. It lets you get a non-unique maneuver. This is the 2nd search effect that we've seen so far from these guys. And if you discard 2 cards, your opponent cannot play reversals to that either. So this can be a really good card. It costs you a couple of hand cards, but that's probably okay for what it gives you. Calculated Attack. It's a 25 fortitude, 15 damage trademark finisher / reversal with 3 stun value. As a reversal, completely reverse any non-superstar specific multi-maneuver. When this card is in your ring, after you draw for your draw segment, you may put 1 card from your ringside pile on top of your arsenal. So this card reverses a lot of good maneuvers, but saying that not every superstar will play a superstar, non-superstar specific multi-maneuver. So you might not be able to play this as a reversal. But it's still a trademark finisher, a relatively cheap one at 25 fortitude. And when it's in your ring, you get to stack a ringside card. So you can kind of control your draw segment next turn, perhaps, or control the first card you overturn if your opponent's maneuver is successful. Really good. Simply Priceless, sorry. It is a 15 fortitude, 2 damage mid-match multi-action / reversal special. When you are priceless, this card is -5 fortitude. As an action, this card is -2 damage. Look at your opponent's hand, choose 1 card, and he removes it from the game. Then search his arsenal for any cards with the same title, and he removes them from the game and shuffles. As a reversal, reverse any card played from hand. This card's really good. Both effects on it are excellent. Now imagine if your opponent is like a technical deck and he's got, 10 technical drop kicks, and you go and you say, oh, I want to remove this technical drop kick plus the other 9 that you have in your arsenal. This card can really hurt a lot. You're probably going to want to play it as a reversal just because it hits any card from hand. But it's not too shabby as an action. Ted's Cobra Clutch Leg Sweep. It is a 6 fortitude grapple / reversal for 8 damage, 1 stun value. As a maneuver, when your next card played this turn is a maneuver, it cannot be reversed from backlash. And when played by Priceless, this card is multi. As a reversal, can only be played when you have 3 or more cards in your hand. Reverse any hybrid maneuver and discard 2 cards. Again, both parts of this card is good. It's a multi-grapple, straight up. And as reversal, it hits any hybrid maneuver, which is, any technical, any dynamic, any superstar specific that's also hybrid. It hits a lot of good stuff, and it does a reasonable amount of damage. Cody's Flying Dropkick, 14 fortitude, 11 damage, high risk / reversal with 2 stun. As a maneuver, can only be played after a successfully played card. When that card was a maneuver, your opponent discards 2 cards when successfully played. And when that card was from the top rope, can only be reversed from arsenal. As a reversal, reverse any strike or any maneuver played after a setup card or follow-up card. This card is good. Chances are you're going to want to save it as a reversal because strike is probably the most common maneuver type in the game. I've also played it to a card that was played after from the top rope, I think. An 11 damage superstar specific reversal is really difficult for your opponent to come back from. So a lot of times when this card hits the table, especially as a reversal, you've got the game pretty well in hand, typically. 3rd generation superstar Throwback. It is a multi-action / reversal, 3 fortitude, 3 damage. As an action, search your arsenal for 1 card, put it in your hand, and shuffle. As a reversal, reverse any strike or grapple. When this card is chosen for your ability, put it on the bottom of your arsenal instead. So this is potentially a repeatable action, or reversal even, which is really excellent. There's nothing wrong with this card. This card is just really good overall. Being able to search for any card is pretty huge. And reversing strike and grapple, which are the most common maneuver types in the game, is excellent. And when you use it for your ability to make your next card -9 fortitude, you can bury it, which is excellent. Prove Your Worth. Multi-action, 12 fortitude, 0 damage, / reversal unique. As an action, name a maneuver type Your opponent reveals his hand and discards all maneuvers of the chosen type. Once during each of your turns, you may discard one card and then shuffle one card of the same card title from your ringside into your arsenal. So this card reverses any unique card, which is amazing. That's nearly every superstar specific and 99% of virtual cards. As an action, similar to their mid-match, you get to look at your opponent's hand, pick something, and he discards all of them. So if your opponent is sitting on a bunch of pain reversals and you call grapple, then he's got to discard his power slam and his spine buster and his leg drag that he's been saving. And the ace on it is pretty good. It's not great. But you know, if they reverse with "Don't try this at home," okay, I guess I'll put it into my ringside and I'll have it again to play later. Cross Rhodes, trademark finisher, 30 fortitude, 20 damage, 3 stun value, cannot be reversed from backlash, and we are not Cody Rhodes, so the rest of the card is not relevant. It's a pretty standard trademark finisher, but it cannot be reversed from backlash, which is genuinely pretty commonplace to reverse a trademark finisher from because of like king interferes and outside interference. So this card is definitely pretty good. Dream Street, trademark finisher / action, 30 fortitude, 20 damage, 3 stun. When you are the legacy, blah, blah, blah. We are not. As an action, this card is fortitude 0 and cannot be reversed. Discard this card and draw 1 card. Again, it's a pretty standard trademark finisher. If anything, it's a card your opponent cannot reverse, which can maybe lead you into something better. Cody's Bulldog, a 4 fortitude, 8 damage grapple / reversal. When you are Cody Rhodes, this card is -4. We are not. As a maneuver, when played as a counter, cannot be reversed by D1 or greater cards. Your opponent puts 1 card from his hand on the bottom of his arsenal. As a reversal, when overturned, reverse any non-unique maneuver or non-damage effect. Pretty good card. It's obviously better if you're Cody Rhodes because it's 0 fortitude, but it's got a pretty good reversal restriction on it. And as a reversal from Arsenal, it's pretty good as well. And then one thing I noticed is that they got a card in Virtual 12 called Backed by Randy Orton, and Octagon has it listed under the Legacy, but it's actually Priceless that gets the card. It's a backstage area card backed by Randy Orton. Before the first turn of the game, shuffle this card into your arsenal. When this card is in your hand, it is fortitude 20 and reads reverse any non-unique card. When this card is overturned, it is fortitude 0 and reads reverse any non-damage effect. Or when you have 15 or fewer cards in arsenal, any card, put this card into your ring. So this is kind of just like a fail-safe. If you're getting your ass kicked, then you overturn this card and you get a fortitude. Or when it's in your hand, reverses any non-unique card. And it's free, so there's no reason not to pack it. All right, so let's get all the specifics in the deck. Priceless will go there. Sons of Legends is a backstage card. Born Better in the pre-match, great card. God-given talent, calculated attack. Simply Priceless, another great card. Cobra Clutch, leg sweep. The drop kick, 3rd generation superstar, prove your worth, Cross Rhodes, Dream Street, and Cody's Bulldog. Now you notice I loaded up the heel shell. No particular reason other than I think I just made a bunch of face decks in a row. So for variety's sake, I chose to make them heel. Okay, so let's see. So when I see that someone's ability makes opponent discard, the first thing I think about is chain. Now the chain trait says your opponent has to discard 2 cards from his hand in order to be able to reverse your chain card from hand or backlash. And one of the Shenanigans cards says when your opponent has 4 or fewer cards in hand, he can overturn instead of discarding for the change rate. So Priceless, when you successfully play your first maneuver each turn, your opponent discards a card. So when they play a chain card, a chain maneuver in particular, their opponent's going to be discarding no matter what. Unless, of course, they have the 4 or fewer cards in hand. Then they're going to be overturning, which is cool because that's how you win the game. So I think I'm going to make them chain because that was my first instinct. And also, when your opponent skips his first turn of the game, that could potentially mean that you get 2 turns in a row. If you would normally start the game and you have your full turn, and then let's say you play Flawless Quick Snap, that's 4 cards they're going to have to discard and 2 reversals they're going to have to play, or they let you get 4 Fortitude and they discard a card. So let's just say they reverse your Flawless Quick Snap. That's 6 cards in their hand that they have to get rid of. And then they skip their turn. So they don't get a draw segment. They don't get their ability. They don't get to do anything. And it's back on your turn. And let's say you have another chain move. That's 2 more cards they're going to have to discard plus a reversal they're going to have to play. You can very quickly overwhelm your opponent if you smother them with chain. Chain can still do that, even with the Shenanigans. So I think we're going to go with chain because chain is still good. And anytime you can make your opponent discard cards, that's a pretty good way to win games. All right. So let's do superstar logo equals blank to weed out all the specifics. And then trait contains chain. I can't remember if we've already made a chain deck or not, but I'm going to go pretty quickly through these because I feel like everyone knows what chain does. So 3 quick snap is a must in a chain deck. I'm a fan of body lock. I'll put 2 in for now. I like 3 wraparound wrist locks. Atomic Spinebuster is always a maybe. I don't always pack it. We'll see if it makes it. I'm not a big fan of apply legal leverage. I see a lot of people playing it, but I just don't really like it. Having to play a successful card before it can sometimes make it really hard to hit. So I don't typically pack it unless I have like a guaranteed way of hitting it. Ankle lock is a card I don't always pack, but in them I'm going to, because if it's successful, your opponent's going to discard 1 for your ability and 1 for its own text. And if it's unsuccessful, they've theoretically discarded 2. So either way, they're going to be discarding. Throw. Oh, that's right. We did make a chain deck with Team Angle. And while throw is a must pack in them, it's not going to make this deck. Toss is decent, but I'm not going to go with it. Atomic Driver is amazing. I always try to put at least 2 in a chain deck. Rest Hold. Rest Hold is a card that I want to pack, but I don't always have the slot for it. So I don't think we're going to pack it. If there was like one specific card that I wanted to target with it, I would absolutely put it in, but I don't think that there is. Atomic Bear Hug in the Backlash might be a good idea. We might not have room for it, but for now we'll put it in. I do like Pendulum Backbreaker. I'll put 2 in for now. Big Splash is another card I don't love. Scoop Slam is good, but it just doesn't do that much damage. And it's a card that if we use our ability to make our next card -6 Fortitude, it doesn't really seem worth it. None of these are jumping out at me. Vice Lock is decent, but I don't think so. Flawless will, of course, go with the deck. That's a staple for any chain deck, and I mean, damn near any deck. Maneuver Doom is good. I'll include it for now, but we'll see. It might not make it. All right, let me read that ability again. Choose one card in your ring and remove it from the game. So anytime I see that, I think about cards that have some kind of penalty for it being in your ring. We're already at 54 cards, so I think we're going to have to trim some fat here, which unfortunately means Hold the Phone is gone. We probably live with one Sidewalk Slam. I don't think Candace will make it. Let's see, we have 10 cards to work with. So I wanted to put a couple pain reversals in here just because of their ability to make cards cheaper during any turn. So I would like to include at least 2 throwback spine busters. Whoops, not in my backstage. At least 2 throwback spine busters and 2 throwback power slam, because they hurt a lot when they hit. Now we're at 4 cards. So what cards are good cards to get rid of with your superstar ability? I mean, there's All Talk, No Action, which is a 3 fortitude action reversal. Reverses any action, and when it's in your ring, you cannot play actions from your hand. But we can get rid of it with our ability, so we don't really feel that penalty. So I think I'm going to add 2, because being able to reverse any action can be powerful. And I've noticed a lot more actions being played recently, especially with Great Technical Prowess, which was just released in Virtual 12. So we have 4 cards left. I'm wondering if That's Broken is worth a pack. So That's Broken is a 0 fortitude action multi. Search your arsenal for 1 card, put it under this card and shuffle. When this card is in your ring area, if the card under this card is a non-unique maneuver or reversal, you can play it as if from hand. However, when this card is put from your ring area into your ringside pile, put the card under this. All right. So that doesn't work the way I wanted it to, because they have to remove it from the game. So since they remove cards from the game, I think I'm going to put in at least 2 technical bear hugs, because if they're going to be removing cards, they're going to want to recycle them. Let's look up text from the game and see if there's any fun tech that we can think of. I know with Skip Sheffield, we abused Raw Reunion. I don't really think we can. Well, I mean, look, we can do it, but do we really get anything out of it? We're already struggling with our, not struggling, we're already pretty close to 60 with our arsenal. So I can't think of any Raw card other than like backed by Eric Bischoff that I would want to keep spamming. All right, let's see. Did I just say 3 minutes would be fun to really rip up your opponent's ringside pile? None of these. I guess we could have used Beat You Raw. Yeah. If we had a way of removing it from our ringside, if it was just regularly unsuccessful, get out of here. Don't see anything super important right now. Yeah. Suicide Strike, that's funny. Counterproductive. Man Values is a pretty good card. I mean, I don't think we'll have room for it, but I guess it's worth keeping in the back of our minds. Yeah, am looking bat out of hell. I mean, I wish that card, if that card was 0 fortitude, I might consider packing it. We could add a kidney punch if we are going Raw Reunion. I just don't think we're going to. And I think for variety's sake, it might be best just to stay away from Raw Reunion. Just because we already built at least one of those. And I know I've personally built a bunch of them. Yeah, Backed by Eric would be the card to use if we were going that route, but I just don't think we're going to. I think we might go with, just to fill out the last 2 cards, because none of these are really jumping out at me. I think to fill out the last 2 cards that we have, I think we might just go with shoot action. Not throwback. We don't want the throwback one. We want the non-throwback one. And now that I'm looking at it, I think we might want a couple shoot lockups, because if we can remove cards from our ring, we can control our fortitude. And if we have 5 or more less fortitude than opponent, this can only be a versatile arsenal. So I'm going to put 2 of them in and then cut 2 cards. I think the pendulum backbreakers are probably the most expendable. So I think that's our arsenal. I mean, chain is pretty straightforward. Priceless doesn't have any like super tech that they can abuse. And now that I'm thinking about it, and I already have it up, we're going to add shoot counter. So the fun thing about Priceless is there's a lot of good mid-match reversals that are active. And Priceless can remove cards in their ring. And shoot counter is one of the best reversals in the game. So we're gonna have to cut some of these, because we're gonna want at least 2 outside interference. Sustained we want, that's what we want. I mean, SOB, that's such a good card. We might want 2 of them. We just simply will not have room for Dirty Low Blow, you kind of want, but if we have to, we're going to get rid of it. Same with Atomic Bear Hug. What are we at now? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're at 16 min-match cards right now, and this simply cannot happen. So Atomic Bear Hug's got to go. Dirty Low Blow's got to go. I think I'll have to cut a shoot counter, which I don't want to do. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're already at 13, and we didn't even have like King Interferes in here. Man, this is difficult. But you want these. You want all of these. I don't want to cut any of them. And I have to cut one? This is torture. I think I got to cut Scrupulous because we have action reversals, especially with the All Talk No Action. That's 12. We don't even have King Interferes or Undermine in here. Man, this stinks. But outside interference is so good. It reverses any maneuver. Yeah, I think we'll just have to, I think this is going to be our min match, unfortunately. It's not as fun as I would like, but that's it. A no-show, is there any heal cards that, I mean, right now we'll be getting Jive Soul and Man Interferes, so I mean, if we have room for no-show, fine, but we don't have to pack it. Born Better is so good. Okay. Card type pre-match. Card text chain. Oh, one thing I did forget before we do that. Tag team. Priceless is a tag team, so we have to look at what cards are good for tag teams. Total teamwork, we definitely want that. So we'll have to cut a card for that. Oh, we can cut Cavalry since they can't pack it. Yeah, that's fine. Handicap match, absolutely. Handicap match is great. Classic teamwork. Oh man, we want that too. I think we're only going to have one shoot counter. That really stinks because shoot counter is so good, but we can't cut anything else. You need cow, you need restricted. I mean, reach sometimes doesn't get play, but when you need it the most and you don't have it, your opponent ends up with 20 fortitude on his first turn. So we kind of need it. So I think I'll just have to cut one of these as much as I don't want to. I'll cut it outside, but I don't feel good about it. Where were we? Yeah, I don't think we need any of these. We can pack the tag belts, which we're a 3 superstar value. So we, at the moment, we don't get underrated superstar. Do we want the throwback Raw and SmackDown tags? If they're both in your ring, one of them doesn't take up a slot. They both increase your hand by 1. They are 2 cards, so we might not want them. And if they're both in your ring, then your opponent can use For the Love of the Game, give themselves 2 fortitude. Maybe. We don't want that one. We can't pack that. The throwback, well, I guess they're not throwback, the WWE tag team title belts. They're okay. They're fine. But I think I still prefer the original Federation tag belts. It gives you +1 hand, +2 value. So I think we're going to go with that because that gives us a better chance of actually starting the game. So we can get 2 full turns before our opponent gets 1. All right. So we have to cut a, oh, we did cut a card. We cut cavalry, right? All right. So card type contains pre, card text, chain, not chain, chain. So the debate is whether to go, well, I guess we're a tag team. So I was going to say the debate is to go Old School Cage or Calgary, but if we have handicap match, I'm not going to put in SummerSlam just to throw Old School Cage out there. And we're already struggling with recovery as it is, so I think Calgary would be the better bet for us. Unbreakable Chain is a card that we're going to want because if our opponent's skipping their first turn and then we can continue our turn, yes, please. I want at least one. We might put in more. Restart the Match is a good card, but I don't think we really need it. Marquisa's Wrestling is only okay. I don't always pack it. Tech in a Bottle is good to get that starting move. I mean, if we have Tech in a Bottle, we can go get a Quick Snap Body Slam. And then if that's reversed, we can use our Backstage to go search for another Quick Snap Body Slam. Hunter's Chance, I wish. And the belt we can't pack. Okay. So 1, 2, doesn't count, doesn't count. 3, 4, 5, but the no-show goes away. I mean, is it as easy as 2 Unbreakable Chains and then cards that don't take up a slot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 4 slots. So let's look up slot. If Born Better had Chain, Heat, or Volley in the text, I would consider altogether now. Ruthless Aggression. Ruthless Aggression might be good, considering our opponent is going to be skipping their first turn. If they have Showtime, we can pop Ruthless Aggression and hopefully continue our turn that way. Night of Champions is free and it's +1 hand. I see no problem with that. We could go NWO since they drop in for free. We can go NWO Allegiance and then NWO Poison, and that would also make Outside Interference cheaper. Yeah, I see no reason not to go NWO. because none of these else are, although if we go NWO, then we have to put in I'm going to want to put in the NWO mid-match reversal because that's also very good. Yeah, I mean, dang. NWO, because we definitely want Poison. Poison's such a great card. Even with the -1 to the numbers. Beatdown, ringside, t-shirt. Yeah, we definitely want this. I think I'd rather have that shoot counter and the outside. All right, well, I guess we don't need reinforcements. Survey time. Since survey time drops in for free, we could probably take out probably Night of Champions is our most expendable pre-match. So, and they generally, you know, Night of Champions pretty much just gives you +1 hand, and this lets you draw a card. So it's basically a wash. So I think that's it. I'm going to put in Hometown Hero just to make sure we get our venue, because Calgary will be really helpful for us. But yeah, I mean, that's the deck. You know, I feel like we built this one pretty quick, but sometimes it's best not to overthink. We have a bunch of moves. We have some good reversals. We have an ability that lets us play cards for cheap. So I think we're good. I'll let you know because I'm excited to play this. I've never actually built Priceless before. I built Legacy a few times, but I've never built Priceless. So I'll be interested to see how it works out. If you see anything wrong with this deck or if you think I made a mistake, let me know in the comments. Please like the video. Makes me feel good at least. And that's it. Well, thank you guys. I'll try to record more of these more often. Thanks for watching.